Good morning. Today's day 4. It's Thursday. Today's day 4 of the refinishing of the 94. Um, Yesterday we talked about uh, putting some finish on the stocks. Was that yesterday or the day before? And I've been continuing on with that. We'll talk about that. And I've been working on the barrel. That was the big issue yesterday. Was working on the barrel. Um, First of all, let's look at the stocks the way they're coming along. You can see they're really starting to come along good. This is that new oil or true oil, and what it does is it builds up layers after layer. This is probably about 8 layers at least of stuff that I put on here. And what it does is it fills in all the grain. It fills in all the the little divots and all the stuff that's on the wood, and it makes it like glass finish. Um, you can still see there's still some little bits, so that's what makes me think that it's pretty close to getting to where we want it to be. The other thing it does is it does accentuate the grain, and it's going to be a beautiful gun when it's done. Okay, the barrel and the receiver. Uh, the barrel yesterday, when I looked inside, I think we looked inside yesterday, right? Can we do it again today? You can see it's a lot cleaner inside. But the barrel wasn't the problem, and what the problem was the chamber. The chamber had rust in it. It had a bunch of crap in it, and it wasn't coming out by just using the normal brushing methods that I was using to do the barrel. So after the barrel was clean, I concentrated on the chamber. And the way that I did that was I had to soak it, and I used hoppies. I soaked with the hoppies for about an hour. And the way that I did that was I took some of the larger patches, the shotgun patches, and I soaked them in hoppies, and I stuffed them up inside the chamber till it was packed inside there good and tight, and I just left it sit. So that way there was contact with the walls of the chamber for that hour instead of maybe running off and pooling in the bottom or whatever. So I took that out, and I got a better idea what was going on. I took and I used a brass brush, a wire brush on it that didn't seem to make that much of a difference. So what I did was I put on a drill, and I have a rig. Oh, it's still got the brush on it too. Okay, so this is the rig here, and you can see what it is. It's a brass brush. This one has um, was for the finishing. It has a brass brush on it, and you stick it on the end of a drill, and you stick it in there, and you keep going back and forth. You don't want to stay in one place. Okay, you stay in one place, you can wear down parts of the chamber, and that wouldn't be a good thing to do. You want to make sure also that there's plenty of oil. So I take it out frequently and put oil on it. And the oil that I use my ballistol. Ballistol is good at dissolving carbon and things like that. So I spray it on there, stick it back inside, and I kept that up probably for I kept checking it every 5-10 minutes or so, and I kept it up probably for about a half hour anyway. And then I noticed that there was some difference. There was some shininess coming through finally, and the so I after it got fairly clean, what I did was I took this one. This one has steel wool on it, and I used it with this ballistol again, and I stuck it in there, and I shined it up nice. I mean, it's nice. It's shiny enough out in there now that you can shave by it. Well, I gave up shaving, but you could shave by it if you want to. Another thing that you can use, see, I should be better prepared, right? Is I did I just show my belly? Anyway, this is the JB. It's Bore Bright, and what it does is it cleans the barrel. It's got a small little bit of of, wait a minute. Okay, we're back again. Sorry, I, I had a little moment, but anyway, I'm back. Anyway, the JB is good. It's got a little bit of an abrasive in it, a mild abrasive. And what I do is you can put it on one of those cotton things that you get in with your cleaning kit, and use that to try to brighten things up. You can use it on the whole barrel. Um, you got to be careful because it's hard to get out. At least for me, anyway, it's hard to. You got to really clean the gun afterwards because you don't want to get that stuff stuck in there, and it can cause problems inside your barrel or inside your chamber. So anyway, so I polish it up with the steel wool, and like I said, it came out really nice. We talked before about, and I'm not going to go into it again about that space, but it's very important that your chamber is smooth and that it's the right size for the ammo that you're using. When the round expands, when it's fired, the round expands, and it only expands maybe a hundredth of a thousandth of an inch or whatever it expands out, and the chamber holds it, and also that all the energy goes out the barrel. If it's not the way it's supposed to be, um, at the very least, what can happen when it expands out and then it contracts back again, it gets stuck on whatever crap that you have inside your um, what that you have inside your barrel. Inside your chamber. We talked about you know 80,000 psi for some rounds. That's a lot of pressure in there, and it's a lot of pressure pushing out. So you want to make sure that your chamber is very smooth, and that it's very clean. And like I said, it's the right size, because if it's too big, the cartridge will expand too much and it can burst. And if it's but that's not going back into headspace, and we're not going to go back into headspace right now. So anyway, so what I've done this morning was I've taken and I've sanded or polished the receiver, and it's just basic. I haven't gotten to the heavy duty stuff yet. That's just well, I actually have used the heavy duty stuff. The finer stuff will make it shine up a little bit more. The barrel itself, what I've done is I've used some 100 grit on the barrel. There's some really heavy duty pitting areas. There's one there, and there's a big one right here, and I want to try to get rid of that as much as possible. To start off with, I used one of these. These are great, made of stainless. They're great. You use them, it'll take off rust, it'll take off it'll help with the pitting, and it won't take off your bluing either. That's the other thing, is it won't take off your bluing. If you have a little rust and you want to get it off your barrel, you can use steel wool and oil as one way of doing it, or you can use one of those pads, and they're pretty cheap and they last a long time. Enough ads for that. But you can see, let's see, oh, there it is. See, there's lines. There's lines from the sandpaper, from the 100 grit sandpaper, which is for me pretty heavy duty sandpaper. That's okay, because we're doing this right now. What I'm plan on doing is I plan on going from the 100 grit sandpaper down to the 220, and then down to 400, and maybe even 220, and it'll smooth it out some. I don't want it real shiny. If it's real shiny, the cold bluing, for me anyway, acts up and it doesn't perform the way it's supposed to. If I leave it at the 220 level, um, it'll get darker, but bring it up to 600, but more probably up to 400, and it gives the bluing something to grab onto, and it makes it nice and dark. So so that's where we are right now with the restoration or the refinishing of the 94. Just a bunch of grunt work right now. It's not a lot of fancy showmanship type stuff. I'm going to work on this barrel and get it as good as I can on the outside. Got it on the inside, now get it on the outside. Going to probably add 3 or 4 more coats of that true oil. They say, you're supposed to wait 2 to 12 hours. I have a fan that runs on it because I'm pretty impatient, and the fan dries it, and we'll dry it quicker so that I can get another layer on. So now we talked about nickel plating, and I've been playing with the nickel plating, and it's been pretty cool. I just wanted, this has nothing to do with the 94, it has nothing to do with it, but what I've got is my Winchester, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but see the what I've done is, let's see if I can get some more light on it. So what I've done is I've nickel plated parts of the rifle, and I plan to do more. I plan to do the trigger, and I plan to do the hammer, and I know the little door, the loading hatch there, and see how it looks, and all the screws. We'll do all the screws and plate them in nickel also. And if you hold on just a second, I'm gonna show you something that I'm pretty excited about, and we're gonna deal with it tomorrow. So. What I've got is, somebody had asked me to clean for them. This is a 1917, an Eddie Moore 1917, and it's on loan. And tomorrow I intend to do the story of the 1917. This is one of my dream guns. This is something that I really, I had an 03A3, and these two fought together. These two, not this particular rifle necessarily, but the 03 and the 17 fought together in World War One, and that's what won the war for us, was those two guns. But anyway, so we're going to do that tomorrow. I'm excited about that. But other than that, I'm going to continue on with what I'm doing with the 94, and maybe we'll do some bluing tomorrow, and we'll get things moving. If we can get this blued, then we can start putting it back together again, and that way then we'll take it shooting. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try actually taking the computer outside to my little shooting area, and we can shoot it, and then you can experience that too. Anyway, we'll talk to you tomorrow.